let's chop it up for a bit. So, yo, officially today, there's been a post circling around the MERLES being officially able to compete in not just fun shows for the ABKC, but actual shows for titles, champions, and points. I kind of wanted to just get on here and talk about, put the seatbelt on since I just started driving. I wanted to get on here and talk about, I guess my general thoughts and feelings. At first I wanted to say that I didn't know how to feel about it, but I think I do know how to feel about it. I've had MERLES in my program. I started off with MERLES in my program. And the reason why, after I did a bit more research from being somebody who didn't know much, I was okay with that is because I knew that this moment was coming. And I knew that it was coming soon, particularly 2025, because not too long after my second MERL litter, first MERL litter was only had a singleton, and she didn't have any other litter mates. In 2024, ABKC Nationals, they allowed MERLES to compete in the fun show. And there are tons, well, maybe not tons, there are plenty of MERL dogs that are phenotypically amazing and what the breed standard is, besides the coat, for y'all kill me. Tons of MERL dogs that really do have an amazing look. Big dome, bone, nice rear, straight feed, nice bite. It's just the color that really knocked a lot of them. And I'm sure that was one of the deciding factors, on top of the money. MERLES not being accepted into the ABKC for those champion, point shows versus the fun shows really discouraged a lot of breeders from going to ABKC. So they started, defecting out to BRC or ABR or whatever the other registries are, you name it. Similar to how exotics kind of are. And well, what I'm surprised about most in this situation, and maybe this is going to happen next, I think this is going to happen next. Dave Wilson made a post about a month ago. He said, in a month, I'm going to make a huge announcement. I'm assuming this is what he meant, but I assumed it was going to be an official announcement or maybe a live chat with the Bully the Kid guy. But I assumed he was going to also say that now we are going to introduce the mini bull, or in the very least, reduce the size of a pocket from, at its lowest, 13 inches to 11 inches. Some would say 12, but I feel like a 1-inch difference isn't that major. But 11 inches is comprehensive. I honestly do not believe, and this is me getting off the MERL topic for a second, I do not believe that with us having pockets, standards, classics, and XLs, I don't think we need another class. It's already too confusing. To be honest, I think it should just be pockets, standards. XLs are kind of struggling right now to find their identity, considering that so much Mastiff blood has been mixed into a lot of things. So they're kind of struggling to find their identity. But from what I've seen and hear, that the Brazilian pit monster, who is already it's my girl call, who is already a ABKC accepted dog, the Brazilian pit monster, I was under the impression that, people are going to start using those pit monsters into their bully program because, for one, they're already ABKC dogs. For two, the genetic makeup of a bully is already all over the fucking place. And if we're going to make bad introductions to the breed to make exotics, which is what they did, they started mixing in Frenchie and Bulldog, and they kept shrinking it with Frenchie, and they were hanging papers and mixing in a Frenchie, and then having a pocket go to a pocket, and after that another Frenchie gets mixed in. It's the only way you get small dogs that freaky. And then now, once you get those freaky dogs, you can breed them together and keep making more freaky dogs. And after a couple breedings, that embark test comes back as American Bully instead of 6% French Bulldog or 18% Bully, Bulldog, or 6% French Bulldog. And that's what they were doing. I'm sure that's what they're still doing, to get those smaller, freakier dogs. So what's the difference between people using Mastiffs and mixing that in to the XL class to make them taller? I think those two situations are actually identical to each other. The problem with it is when you add French Bulldog into a bully, you're making the dog worse. You're making the dog have more breathing issues. You're making the dog be too low to the ground to be able to function. Dogs should be able to bend their limbs. They should be able to move their ligaments without having to scrape the floor. So it's only so small that you can make a dog without anatomically shrinking them. On some Ant-Man shit. But I feel like that's an exact one-to-one comparison to people bringing in Mastiffs and other types of larger breeds, Dog Argentino, I'm sure they've done that before, into the breed. Because yeah, sure, maybe it might increase their breathing capacity or whatever the case is, but it's making the dogs lankier. It's not adding muscle and it's not adding bone. Whereas if we took that same approach and added the Brazilian Pit Monster, I kind of see the argument that those dogs if the best ones look how everybody wants their XLs to look. They look like pockets, but 20-something inch pockets. That's what they look like. They look like pockets. They still buff, big ass head, boned out. You know what I mean? Thick thighs, like thick wrists and arms. Like it looks like a pocket if it were 20-something inches. So why would you not breathe that in to the current XL or to the current pocket to make your XLs better when you're breeding? And I'm not saying they're right for doing this. When you're hanging papers to bring a Mastiff in who doesn't have ABKC papers to make your XLs worse. Why not have an ABKC approved dog with an embark and breed that with a dog that's also ABKC and embarked? You might as well do that. So if you don't have a problem with the other, you shouldn't have the problem with that, because that one's at least better for the dog, or at least better for the breeder and the look of the dog. I don't know the health benefits of it. I'm assuming it would be better. And as far as the Merle thing, I mean, look, you can either get with it or get lost. Like I'm not a proponent of it, but I find it a little weird sometimes. I get it. I understand it's a mutation and it's the displacement of color, and I understand all of that. But if we start having breeders who are actually capable and knowledgeable, handling that shouldn't be a problem. We're all, as a community, starting to move towards more accurate health testing, inevitably, because people aren't buying dogs like that anymore. Or at least they're not buying the average person's dog. Let me correct myself. And even the breeders who are selling dogs like crazy, they're not selling them for the prices they were selling them in COVID. So people are having to go through extra lengths to prove to people that they have quality dogs. And I'm not above, if the Merle is here, okay, cool, health test the dog, make sure you don't breed a Merle to a Merle, and that is what it is. That's that. It's not like the American Bully isn't a hodgepodge mix of 3 to 5 other breeds already. Like it's already a mix of a little bit of everything. And I'm not saying that's correct, but that's how you make a breed, right? And our stud books still aren't closed, and people are still mixing Frenchies and Bulldogs into the breed to make them weirder. And I don't know, maybe that's dwindling down now because there's such a large array of people making terrible dogs and breeding them. But I'm just saying, if we're gonna allow people to do that, turn a blind eye. And granted, the ABKC is not accepted in micros, thank God, or exotics, thank God. But I can see the argument for people thinking that they're about to. However, my opinion is that I don't think they're going to go that far. I think they're going to just shrink the size of the pocket, since the breed is overall getting smaller, because the pool is, it's still wide, but it's still, everybody's breeding to the same stuff, so it's getting smaller. I think the most that they're going to do is go down to maybe 11, maybe 10 inches height-wise for smallest height for a female. Male might go to 11. And they're going to leave it at that. I hope that that's as far as they go with it. I don't think any dog, unless it's a damn Chihuahua or a Frenchie or whatever, not even a Frenchie, honestly, or a little yappy dog, should be under 9 inches, 10 inches. It doesn't seem healthy to me. With these big bone dogs, you can't both have big bone and a dog that's 4 inches off the floor. I just don't think it's healthy. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm sure it will happen one day, but it doesn't happen in 2, 3, 4, 5 generations. I don't think. I've seen some really impressive micros too. I really have. I like 5150. 5150 is cool. I fuck with 5150. Just his look. Now, I haven't seen the boy move or nothing like that necessarily, but from what I have seen, that looks like a really phenomenal representation of what people want that type of dog to be. He doesn't look like he's suffering, at least at this point from what I saw on Facebook. So yeah, I'm cool with the Merle thing, man. It is what it is. People are already doing it. You might as well bring it in, sanction it, and encourage people to make better dogs. I just would really highly encourage people to health test. And if the dog's health tested and he's clear, it is what it is. The bulldog is already a part of the American Bully. So if the bulldog had Merle, then the American Bully should have Merle, in my opinion. It's not like we're not already having their genetics, right? We already have their genetics. Might as well take the best part of it, which is the color, because some people really love that pattern. It is what it is. But I would like to leave that bulldog breathing back. Yeah. And the jaw. I don't like the jaw. I really don't. What are y'all thoughts? What y'all think? How y'all feeling about it? You get with it or you get lost. That's kind of what it is. People gonna do what they're gonna do anyway. All you can do is breed better, no matter what. And I feel like the Merle craze is already kind of dying down. This might give it another wave of resurgence, but once that wave of resurgence of that type of look goes, you know, it's just another dog. And honestly, it's going to depend on the judge, because I love that cookies and cream look. I'm not super big proponent of you know, the Merle thing, but if this is a dog with a nice headpiece, big buff, strong ass chest piece and arms, and low, nice rear angulations on point, stifles and the front paws are on point, like it's not cowhocked, and it's a Merle versus a dog that's exactly the same and not a Merle, depending on what plain coat versus Merle coat, I might go Merle, just because I kind of like that crazy, you know, it's like, and forgive this comparison, but it's like, you know, getting a PlayStation skin. Like, I'm serious. Like, I wouldn't mind having a dog that looks amazing and has a clear embark and is phenomenal in its look with the crazy color that you've never seen, because no pattern like that is alike. I produced one who had a crazy pattern, but he just wasn't what I needed for my program. But, you know, I wouldn't mind having a stud like that in my yard to hit everything that I need to be able to make a better Merle program. But that's just not what I'm doing right now. Right now, I'm pivoting away from the old blood that I had before that I didn't prefer. And I just had to make work because that was the deal. And now I'm able to make my own deals and pick the dogs that I like and breed better. And despite what a dog looks like, I'm able to choose between keeping a dog that's embarked and has a terrible genetic history or a terrible genetic makeup, and if it looks better, I can keep it, or I can pick the dog that isn't the best looking out of the litter, but still has potential, but has a clear embark, and then next generation, when she has puppies, I can produce something crazy and hope that I get another dog that looks as good as the one that I'm passing up on. But that's what breeding is about, right? Producing better dogs. So that's not really that crazy of a gamble, because if I'm believing in my program, and I'm believing in a program, period. Is it a program if it's not getting better? Are you a breeder if you're not getting better? Nobody's dogs are perfect, right? If you're not making better dogs, or if not better dogs that hit that same standard, which is incredibly difficultly hard, are you improving? Are you even a breeder? So I'd rather take that risk and that gamble. And then later on, I'll produce a dog that's completely clear of everything, and also has that look, and also has that bone, and also has that temperament. You know, that's the goal. And I guess the ABKC is doing what everybody said that they would do, sure, but I don't think that's as big of a flex as we think. It's more complicated politic-wise. I know everybody doesn't agree with them. I'm not a fanboy, trust me. I'm just saying, what is there to do? People already are able to bring them to fun shows. I feel like if you didn't allow them to go to fun shows and you just said no, a hard no, and then you required embarks proving that your dog didn't have any bulldog in it, and it was a hard no from the jump, then cool, I'd respect it. But I kind of think it would be a sucker thing to do if you didn't allow them to come in, now that they're already kind of halfway in the door. And now they're completely in the door. And the mission's the same. You can complain about it, and you can be mad about it, and you can hate on these dogs. Or you can outproduce. Or you can make a better dog. If someone has a better dog than you, you still have the opportunity to make a better dog than they have. So you can complain and try to keep them out of the shows and protest and talk shit about the ABKC. I get it. But if those dogs are still being forced to improve, I'm with it. If they're not being forced to improve and people are going to start mixing shit in and there's not going to be any accountability for it, then it's going to be a problem. There's only so much we could do about a platform and a community that we are a part of, but we don't own. And our breed club, they set the standard. I would have been pissed if they introduced the exotic, though. I would have been pissed. So this is a cool change for me. Make your dogs better. That's all you can do. Love it or hate it. Let me know what y'all think. Those are my thoughts on this entire situation. I don't feel like I currently have a dog that's, well, I do think I got a good show puppy right now. That puppy, if he turns out the way I think he's gonna turn out, he's gonna be great for the show ring. But I don't think he's gonna be great to breed. And his koi isn't very high, so I don't know if he'll be a producer. So I gotta go, not back to the drawing board, because my plan is still gonna be the same, but I gotta stay in the lab a little bit more before I pop out. But once I pop out, it's gonna be to learn, improve, and then eventually take the goal home. Hopefully y'all feel the same. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Tell me, is shit good or bad? You love it or hate it? Deuce.